In a world where information seems to travel at the speed of light and traffic at a snail's pace, where the agenda of those at the helm doesn't always reflect the pressures on the streets, where the rubber hits the road, where there's queue of issues needing to be interrogated in the name of speaking truth to power.
Welcome to a place at the table,
where we set the agenda,
table the issues that matter to you,
and invite you to take a seat at the table.
Welcome to a place at the table where you're guaranteed to get some straight talk. I'm talking on the life of Buhari, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I can assure you, certainly primed to be a no-holds-barred conversation. Let's tell it straight. You know we are in a dangerous territory when our youth learn more from TikTok than from textbooks.
Elsie, they say the devil makes work for idle hands and minds. I'm still on job creation by government.
Andy, you can be like a dog with a bone once you sink your teeth into a matter. Well, chew on this. The new U.S. visa policy, reciprocity in the true meaning of the word.
Word. I get the feeling we are in for some education on this one, Kate. I too have a lesson or two to pass on. I'll be keeping tabs on the VAPP Act 10 years on.
You heard them. Here at the table, we tell it like it is. You could say that we're serving up the uncensored version. After all, some like it piping hot. The passing of former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari on July 13, 2025, at the age of 82, closes a significant chapter in Nigeria's political history. His leadership, first as a military head of state, 1983 to 1985, and later as a democratically elected president, 2015 to 2023, was marked by moments of promise, failure, and deep controversy. As reactions pour in, ranging from admiration to resentment, it is crucial to reflect on his legacy with balance, while exercising empathy in depth. Buhari entered politics with a reputation for discipline and integrity. As a military ruler, his war against indiscipline campaign sought to instill order, though its authoritarian approach drew criticism. Decades later, his election in 2015, Nigeria's first democratic transition from an incumbent to an opposition candidate, inspired hope. He vowed to tackle corruption, insecurity, and economic stagnation, resonating with citizens wary of systemic failures. His administration made strides in infrastructure, including road and rail projects, and achieved some progress against Boko Haram, including the release of some Chibok schoolgirls. Supporters praised his frugality and perceived incorruptibility, particularly in Nigeria's corruption-ridden political landscape. Despite initial optimism, Buhari's presidency was plagued by unfulfilled promises. Nigeria's economy faltered under his watch, with the naira losing 70% of its value, inflation soaring, and 2 recessions occurring within 5 years. His tenure deepened Nigeria's ethnic and religious divides, and his handling of insecurity further eroded the populace's trust in him. Buhari's death demands reflection, not celebration or vilification. While accountability for his failures remains vital, empathy acknowledges his humanity, a leader who, despite his flaws, believed he served Nigeria. His passing is a reminder of leadership's transient nature and the need for future leaders to prioritize compassion, inclusivity, and accountability. Let Buhari's death inspire a Nigeria that heals division and strives for better governance. One where leaders are judged not just by their policies, but by their empathy. May the soul of President Muhammadu Buhari rest in peace.
Amen.
Me, I don't mince words.
I was expecting that.
You said perceived. You said perceived. Yeah, perceived. It seemed like all of that. So many unfulfilled promises. And there's a quote that says that you should live your life well so that the preacher doesn't have to lie at your funeral. Under him was the road, real. Naira debacle in cahoots with Emefiele. We had a lot of stress People were stressed. People were jumping naked inside bank over the fence that was under Buhari. Is it a reminder? I doubt the rest will learn, because they seem as if when they're in that place, they feel like nothing can touch them. For me, I'm just going to say, don't tell people how to mourn. People were affected either positively or negatively, and all of them are valid. Yaradua passed. He was praised now. So many other people, presidents have passed. So let people be. Let them express it how they see it. Yes, someone has died. Namaste. But let people express how they were affected. That's my take on it. Nothing more to add.
First and foremost, may his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
His family is mourning. He died at a ripe age at 82. A life well spent. As for his government, I think the verdict has been given way before now, and I strongly believe in doing what we do here, especially holding governments accountable when they're in government. I feel that any judgment at this point will be based on too much of emotion, and of course there has to be some empathy towards family members and all that, because we are not analyzing, say, Muhammadu Bello that died some maybe 50, 60 years ago. We are talking about someone that just, I mean, the 1 week national mourning is not even over. So all I have to say is that may his soul rest in peace, and may God grant his family and all loved ones fortitude to bear the loss.
Let me not say anything about the national money.
But in your advocacy, you said his leadership, both military and democratically won, was marked by moments of promise, failure, and deep controversy. Why is there no success there? Why is it just promise,
the
failure?
success was highlighted in the infrastructural part.
I'm just saying your summary is still following my path, right? Because I still remember NSAS and how leadership happened at the time. You know, I mean, we will all go one day, but the question is always, how would you be remembered? How would you be remembered? I see people say, oh, he served Nigeria, so it would be rude to not give him the respect and all. Even from what some of his aides have said, those that are trying to defend his legacy, someone came out to say, oh, when he was serving, he was critically ill and was going for health checkup in London, but still ensured that he served Nigeria. So the reason that he was able to do all that is because as he was serving Nigeria, Nigeria was serving him. Because from what they, now I'm picking back what they have said. If I'm taking it from that angle, it means that he will probably not have gotten to 82 if he was not the president of Nigeria. Because it is our money that has kept him alive till now. So he has reaped the fruit of his labor, right? I don't know how I said it in Islamic term, but there's something about all that, right? So I don't think, like she said, Kate has said, you cannot tell people how to react to situations like this, because a lot happened within that 8 years of his administration.
And even the military
time, right? So my condolences to his family, really. And yes, we lost a former president, but Nigeria has moved on anyway, so yeah.
We are still in our one
week
of mourning.
Okay, you are.
I had no idea.
Okay.
Inka, please.
All right, so I want to quote from a tweet I did, which for me describes the late President Buhari. I said, Buhari the man was a basket of contradictions. Simple but complicated, firm but hesitant, devout but indifferent, focused but nonchalant, most adored but most despised. One thing in which there is no contradiction is that he was definitely ancient but not modern. So, I mean, for me, it describes the man. Because Buhari, at his elements, was a polarizing personality in terms of the fact that he was extremely loved by those who love him, It was extremely loathed and hated by those who did it. But at the end of the day, Buhari at 82 died a good, ripe old age.
Fair enough.
And we can spend all the time talking about his legacy, what he did right, what he did wrong. But at the end of the day, he's come, he's done his bit, and he's gone.
And his light has come to an end.
And so the reality for us here is that we have to reflect, and I like the way you put it, that it's for the leaders who are still there now to reflect. I also said in one of my tweets that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the grandiousness of your estate or the power you wielded while you were alive. When we're all done here, the real estate that you say belongs to you is a 10 by 4 feet ground, 6 feet under the ground. That's the one thing that you say that actually belongs to you. And so it's an opportunity for our current leaders, wherever you are, whether you are in subnational or you are at federal level, to reflect and ask yourself, how do I want to be remembered? Leaders will make mistakes. A leader's decision will lead to people getting life, people dying as
Unintended
well.
consequences.
So, and we will, I mean, it's easy to look at them and say, in hindsight, and say, oh, they did this or they did that. But it's an opportunity for us to reflect. Buhari has come, Buhari has gone. He came, he served, he's gone. For those who are left behind, it's for them to reflect on his life, reflect on his actions, reflect on his successes and his mistakes, and see how they will not repeat it.
There can be no learning where we replace sober reflections with trivialities and vilification.
Zuma, you and I are facing the same direction. I'll be putting it like this. We are a nation in reverse. When we substitute clout for curriculum and visibility for values, keep listening. In 2012, a Dutch teenager accidentally made her 16th birthday party invite public on Facebook. Now, inspired by the movie Project X, over 350,000 people RSVP'd, turning it into a riot scene. Netflix's new documentary, Trainwreck: The Real Project X, shows how one viral post spiraled into chaos. Not because social media is evil, but because no one paused to ask, where is this leading? Fast forward to Nigeria in 2025, when 20-year-old TikTok sensation Pella, a school dropout, announced a 500,000 naira a month cameraman role requiring a master's degree. Well, over 20 postgraduates showed up. It quickly became content, the spectacle, the punchline. A female applicant later said she felt misled and used for content, that she left her house chasing employment and ended up in a skit. And it gets worse. In another clip, Pella boldly claims Nigeria only has 3 tribes. No, he wasn't joking. He dismissed the ethnic identity on camera. A painful reminder that viral fame doesn't require even the most basic civic knowledge. Just confidence, Wi-Fi, and vibes. This is not about Pella. It's about a system that has collapsed so spectacularly that we now respect visibility over value and confuse digital fame with qualification. A country where cultural erasure is shrugged off because the algorithm favors audacity over accuracy. Social media is not the villain, it's the mirror. Since its inception, it has been both a blessing and a curse, largely dependent on how we choose to use it. But when Clout becomes the national curriculum and our youth learn more from TikTok than textbooks, we must ask, what future are we building and who is teaching it? Pella's belief that Nigeria only has 3 tribes is more than ignorance. It's a systemic indictment of a collapsed curriculum that prioritizes theory over civic literacy, a performative patriotism that teaches national anthems but not national identity, an education culture that rewards cramming over understanding. Because let's not forget, he went through basic education. So this isn't about one influencer. It's a national warning sign. and we better not scroll past it?
I want to start by asking, using someone for a skit without their consent should have some consequences, no?
It should.
Yeah.
But this is Nigeria.
Yeah, but yeah. So, but you see, your advocacy, as you said, is a reflection of the society. It's, I think, on this show we've talked about education a lot, and the state of education in Nigeria, and nature abhors a vacuum, as you said. If they are not learning from textbooks, they'll be learning from
TikTok.
somewhere else. So I think you are spot on. We need to really focus on our education system, on the curriculum, and the topic which I want to speak about. People now look at this content creation and stuff like this as, I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but that is not, I'm not sure 1 million people should wake up and aspire to be content creators thinking they'll all succeed. You know, if they had good things to do with their time, proper jobs, I think, and a good education, as you've said, I don't think we'll be in this situation. So it's all shades of wrong, and it will take a long time to correct. That's just one thing I know, because you don't see the effect of education like immediately.
One thing I always tell people is a lot of people are loud and ignorant. They are very loud about their ignorance. And one thing I'm going to disagree with in your advocacy is the fact that Pella not being able to, not knowing that we have more than 3 tribes in Nigeria is an indictment on the educational system. I would say, while we were in school, we had social studies. Yes. My kids in school now, they do civic education, and this is compulsory from primary through secondary. So that is a failure on him. It chose not to learn. I don't know, maybe at what point, maybe he missed the class. I mean, you're literally, part of the curriculum includes you drawing a map of Nigeria and identifying the different tribes. Like I've done this to my children multiple times. So him not knowing that, it's literally on him, you know, but it's quite sad the way a lot of young people, they get their information and news from the internet without trying to verify it. They don't even try to read. When my kids come to me and say, oh, Mama, I heard this. Where did you hear it from? Oh, somebody said it on, okay, so where is this person? What authority does this person have to make this assertion? Oh, that's why we are asking you. Okay, now that you don't ask me, do your own research. That is not someone on the internet just saying something. The younger people, they need to do more in and not wait to be spoon-fed information. You need to take responsibility for your own learning. Because at the end of the day, your ignorance is on you. And as much as it affects the society, it is literally on you.
Me? Oh, wow. Yes, your ignorance is definitely an individual thing. As much as you have affected your society, but you are the one carrying the shame, the tear cloth. Education can never be a scam. I will never regret my years of growing up, school, social studies, history, being able to draw the map, name the River Niger, and all our governors, and we knew it, but they removed it. So what else do you want? I grew up reading books like Famous 5, Secret 7, reading books, learning words, how to spell, how to read and write properly. But viral fame, like you said, doesn't demand their brains. It can just be empty with a coconut head, no water inside, and you just blow just because. But this same social media is where others are making huge headway with it. Same, it depends on what you're seeing. Me, my feed is exercise, is motivational quotes. I don't even see anything that is rubbish. So it's what you choose to feed your eyes on. That's what's going to keep coming into you. Hearing, what's the Bible quote again? Doing the word of God comes by faith, comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. You read. If you're not reading, what you're hearing is breeze, next thing in and out. So I wish them well. When I came for him, I don't even know him. I work with Patrick's Speech. They help children with speech and language. Yes. So I saw it and I'm like, what's this thing? I have a TikTok account, but I hardly go there. Go and check the distance between my posts. I don't understand that place. They ones, kid, come on TikTok. I say, what's happening there? What these young people? I don't have energy. So I have the account. Once in a while, I go, I post. You see, my content is not even like their own. And I said, what's this thing? What is all this? There are people living, hey, Twitter. If you go back, I think I have like 2.4 million impressions and you are jealous. Imagine, me jealous.
Of what?
I'm jealous of him.
I don't see.
Yinka, you saw it now.
Jealous of
I'm
the
jealous
guy?
Yes, I'm jealous of him. He has made too much money. There's people like us. He's not the first to do it. I just say, look at these hungry people. But I don't even blame the people who went for the job search, thinking that I will lead somewhere. It's the situation of the country. Somebody is going for an interview, hoping to contribute honestly, and then make money. Then you turn them into content. Nothing happens. He has used you. He has thrown you away. Nothing. Like
He's
Zuma
going to do it again.
Zuma says, our laws is only a suggestion. There are no consequences. I rest my case.
You know, I was speaking with my brother 2 days ago, and we're analyzing a place at the table. And he was talking about the richness of the content and about how a lot of people need to tune into the program, listen, you know, because they will be educated. Remember we had Maji here last week.
Okay, yes, we did.
And Maji was also talking about how, even though he's a host, you know, he was also
Learning.
educated. And it's the same thing with me, and I think every other host here, that as much as we contribute, we also learn.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, shows like A Place at the Table will not
Go viral.
go viral. The kind of content that we talk about is serious. But it's the kind of content that needs to move this country forward. But fortunately, it's the kind of content that that young man is pushing out that is getting the attention, the traffic, and is also getting the monies in. And we need to get back to the basics. And I won't blame you, Kate, but people in with, I don't want to say your generation, I mean, mentors like you should be the, I don't know what's the word, should be the face, should be the
Should be more
ones
visible in advocating for the
that
important
these
things.
young content creators, because essentially they're trying to do what you do, but they're doing it in the way that the current,
They have no idea.
you know. So, but there's no professionalism,
Yeah.
there's no regulation, there's no standard, you know, all this. I think at some point we have to put the responsibility on some people, and I think that you guys, the
Responsibility on
older.
her. The one they say she's jealous in them.
So when I speak about it,
no.
Hey, Tinka, you have come to the wrong place. I spoke about it. And I always speak. Regardless of the backlash, I don't care. And I never delete a tweet in my life. I've put it there.
Yeah,
Why?
but beyond just you speaking, Kate, there needs to be, you're not just the only one. The people
seems so.
in your,
More people need to speak
more
up,
people,
right?
Exactly.
more of you guys need to come together and say that, look, there is a way to do this.
You guys, they don't like serious
we
stuff.
must be responsible
They don't like-
in doing it.
that's
Otherwise, we'll keep enabling this
They don't like
What you're
serious
saying
things.
is almost impossible,
They will tell
but
you
like
freedom of
Bright will
speech.
always say.
Yes,
let's
they'll
not say
tell you
anything
freedom of speech, mental health.
Let's not say anything impossible, but I just want to touch on, shout out to Adekunle Gold. I saw what he did, where he's giving, I think, 250,000 naira to people who made first class.
God
I
bless
like
him.
initiatives like that because he also reward hard work
Yes.
and reward going to school.
And people with
so we
brain.
need more rewards to be pushed to areas like that. Not that you have to be ridiculous online before you can get any form of reward or attention, right? And in terms of content, I mean, I'm not that old, but when I was growing up, you realize that your parents actually get involved in what you watch
Yes.
on TV, right? Some of the programs that we watch, even if there was a program like this at the time that I was growing up, you're probably sitting down with your parents and
Yeah,
you're
you're
listening,
watching,
right? You have your own TV time when cartoon, but there was that time, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, there's PG and you're watching with your parents and conversation happens. But now I go to homes and I see them, that TV is from my child, though, don't touch it. Like, I feel like there's a lot that can happen in terms of parenting and trying to guide your children in the kind of content they consume. Some people have done that in terms of reading. When they're reading, their child see them reading and then they imbibe that into their children, but they're very few. So I feel like new parents should also try to put that. We're not saying don't give them cocoa melon to watch or whatever, but at some point, let there be that time where you're watching something with your child and have a conversation from those things.
Some of the parents are content creators.
They say that those who fail to learn from history are bound to repeat its failures. Let's not scroll past those national teachable moments.
Talking about history, Elsie, last time we said we cannot be said to be making progress without a clear roadmap, and I maintain that position. There are several ways governments create jobs, and these include public sector employment through direct hiring, government spending to boost demand by spending on things like infrastructure, subsidies and grants, research and innovation, ensuring convenient tax policies, education and workforce training, regulatory and industrial policies supporting key sectors such as agriculture and manufacturing, partnering with the private sector in sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and infrastructure. But beyond these generic solutions stated above, every country must be deliberate in identifying what suits its context. The current reality in Nigeria is that the workforce is largely suited for primary production of goods, which in summary means extracting natural resources from the earth, and key activities include those such as agriculture and mining, including oil. Nigeria's workforce, that is persons between the ages of 15 and 64 years of age, is approximately 89 million. Further analysis shows that over 86% of these persons, that's about 76 million persons, have no post-secondary education, according to National Bureau of Statistics. We cannot discuss workforce abstractly. We must face our realities. The 76 million persons need proper jobs with pensions. Governments must conduct a comprehensive gap analysis and assessment of needs of its workforce. Last time I spoke about this topic, I focused on agriculture, and this was received with some skepticism, with submissions that mechanization will take away jobs, which is a fallacy, as India, with a much higher population of over 1.4 billion and about 10 times more mechanization, employs 45% of its workforce through agriculture. By the way, India's workforce alone is more than Nigeria's population. Mechanized agriculture, coupled with value addition through basic industrialization, will unlock jobs for different cadres of the workforce. In addition to agriculture, today I'm adding mining and manufacturing. Government must do more than the current rhetoric in the areas of mining and ensure value addition to mine products before export. Finally, let me reiterate that we cannot keep making the blanket statement that the role of government in job creation is to create enabling environment. We need to contextualize enabling environment in our environment and break things down in a way to hold government accountable. Unemployment is a desperate situation, and government has to take active steps to address it.
This is what I'll point out in your advocacy.
He has won his glasses. It's over for
mechanized agriculture coupled with the value addition through basic industrialization. What you are doing is that you are combining two different sectors together in the name of agriculture. And I'm saying that that's not the way it is. I'm not saying to you that agriculture is not a value addition or will not create jobs. I'm saying that agriculture alone doesn't do it. And what you need to do is that you need to create this industrialization around it. And once that is the case, it is no longer agriculture.
Yinka, is there anything that works alone in the world? Which sector works alone?
Wait. You get my point is that
and can you just let finish?
Your advocacy really, and I put the numbers to you. I said to you that look, the reality is that you are looking at Nigeria's population, and what you see is everybody go to farm.
That is what I'm not saying, Yinka.
Okay.
Why are you saying what I did not say?
Can I contribute to this advocacy?
But that's
not
actually not what he's saying.
That's not what I said.
What's he saying?
That's not what he's saying.
So, what's he saying?
what he's saying is almost similar to what he's saying, right? He's not trying to say that agriculture is the only solution. Like he has rightly asked, there is nothing that works in silo, right? Even, this is what I would say, if you can see clearly, industrialization, while you were reading, and I circled it, and I remember the slogan of the presidential aspirant, right? Where he said we need to move from consumption to production. There needs to be, I mean, agriculture in itself is a huge thing, but there is a chain that connects it to everything, from production of whatever you want to think of, which is why he has brought mining and maybe pretty much a lot of the natural resources that we have, right? But I think the goal of this advocacy is that jobs need to be created. Definitely. And the only way jobs can be created is industrialization. And industrialization has to be, something has to funnel it. Yes. And it's to a large extent, agriculture is one of the natural resources that we have. That's not what, every other thing. So that's what I'm getting.
So Elsie, you don't have context from last week.
From what I heard today.
What he has done today is that he has gone to polish what he did last week, to make it appear like, oh, I'm talking about industrialization. Industrialization is not what he was talking about.
What he was talking about is job creation and government taking responsibility for job creation.
Let me say categorically that last time I talked about agro-industrial complexes several times. How you miss it?
So this is not last week. Let's allow
Zuma.
I have so many thoughts about this. When people ask me about if you were the president of Nigeria today, what would you focus on? It's always agriculture and education. Agriculture, people need to eat. Education, without education, you can't go very far. You cannot industrialize. Education. You cannot do anything without education. And it's quite sad. That's it. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's quite sad we have 76 million people who have no post-secondary education. So what this means is at best, it can only be blue-collar workers. Mm-hmm. And then when we talk about youth unemployment, these are the issues. Government cannot create all the jobs. Like I said, we still go back to enabling environment. And when we talk about unemployment, but we also need to look at unemployability. There is a huge gap, even in the blue-collar sector. We keep saying we have 76 million people who don't have secondary education. That means they are blue-collar workers or entrepreneurs or petty traders. But we still import artisans from neighboring countries. It's sad. So what we need to focus on, what we just need to focus on is to do more in the areas of bridging the skill gap. And that is the only way. So it's not even about mining, because even the coal miners, they are Chinese. We bring in Chinese to do mining in Nigeria. The only bits Nigerians do are like the daily, day-to-day, the physical work of hauling rocks and all of that. So what we need to address is education. And education is not just tertiary education or secondary education. It has to be skill-based.
I'm not usually on the side of government, but I believe that when they create an enabling environment, that is, at least that's a foundation, then people can go. Nigerians are not lazy. We're very, very hardworking, and we're already government unto ourselves, providing everything. So create the enabling environment, create security. The farms that we are saying they should farm, nobody is there because they're not allowing them to farm in peace. You know, there's just so much that government can do apart from you advocating that they create jobs or give jobs. That environment, that foundation has to be there first. Then we can talk about a lot more of all the other things that you and Nika are,
Let me clear something. Okay. I agree with him that agriculture is important. I agree with him that mechanized agriculture is important. In fact, I was the one that talked about mechanized agriculture last week, to say that, look, the projected trajectory is mechanization. That's what everybody's doing. Nobody's carrying bow and hoe and cutlass, whatever. You know, but that exactly what Zuma said, we need to know where the money goes to. Where do you focus? And the point is, we need to upskill the people. And they don't necessarily have to go to the university. Yeah. You understand? We need to upskill the people, invest in upskilling them, and the job creation will follow.
An environment is only said to be enabling when it positions its citizens to fulfill purpose. Aside from that, it's just a catchy phrase and a meaningless concept. We need to break it down to hold government accountable.
Put it another way, Andy, we either rise by lifting others up, or we end up pulling ourselves down, since we're bound by a common identity, whether home or abroad. Last week, the U.S. mission in Nigeria issued a statement on its non-immigrant and non-official visas for Nigerian citizens starting July 8th, 2025. It will be single entry only with a 3-month validity period. This is more than just a policy update. It's a strategic diplomatic message wrapped in procedure. The United States of America is not punishing Nigerians as most would want to think. It's a diplomatic issue that is reciprocal, meaning countries are being treated as they treat American travelers. In the early 1980s, the U.S. issued the 5-year multiple entry visa and then withdrew it. In 1986, for the same reciprocal reasons, Americans pay about $160 for a single entry Nigerian visa valid for 90 days and are only permitted entry for a maximum of 30 days. While we pay about $185 for a 5-year multiple entry U.S. visa. Add this to the concerns over overstays, rates, document integrity, and data sharing, and the result is a downgraded visa validity. Now, what does this mean in clear terms? Nigerian travelers must now reapply for U.S. visas for each trip if previous visas expire. The cost of this is better imagined. Business people, students, medical travelers, etc. will now face more logistical stress and uncertainty. This situation, however, is not likely to be permanent, we hope. It is conditional, pending Nigeria's ability to issue more secure passports, biodata verification, anti-fraud enhancements. Here is how I feel you should plan ahead. Stay updated via the official embassy channels, not just WhatsApp. Apply early, factoring in the now shorter validity. Do not overstay your visa. This is the most critical. Keep your documents clean and accurate. Avoid agents who promise shortcuts to the visa application process. For studies or long-term exchange, consider other countries with more predictable reciprocity. This policy shift reinforces one fact: that in diplomacy, respect and compliance are a real currency. And in a world that's watching everything closely, how we, as a nation, Nigeria, respond could reshape the future of our citizens' global mobility. Let's stop lamenting. Let's start demanding reforms that protect Nigerians abroad and restore dignity at home.
I feel like Nigerians, we sometimes have a victim mindset. People are not always out to get us. The US is not punishing us, you know. They are just trying to protect themselves. Absolutely. And also demand the same respect that they give us. But the Nigeria government has responded that's okay. They understand that, but they also have an e-visa policy in place that the 90 days is for the Nigerian e-visa and not for the standard visa. And that the US is also yet to reciprocate the e-visa, that they would also like the same thing.
We are talking e-visa. Have you given them longer than the 3 months? Anyway.
The standard visa, you have different options beyond the 3 months visa options.
But is it single or multiple?
What?
Visiting visa?
Visiting visa, it depends on what you're coming in for, but not tourist.
So they can get 5 years from Nigeria?
I don't know.
There you go.
That one, I don't know. It's at the discretion. It's at the discretion. So I would also like to weigh in that I totally understand where the US is coming from.
Of course.
Nigerians, we are very unruly.
Yes.
We consider laws as suggestions. A lot of Nigerians will take the 5 years visa and they will technically move to the US. I mean, they will do 5 months
That one is nice. They go with 6 months and still
they do 6 months, come in for 1 or 2 days and then go back. And then they wonder why the US is pushing back. The world is changing.
Yes, it is.
Like, if you, at the core of it, you cannot really jackpot anymore. Because everybody's sending everybody back home. So as much as we try to say, oh, I have options, I have this, I have that, except you have a second passport, it's important for us to ensure that Nigeria works, not just for you as a person, but for the entire country.
The way I look at it really is within the context of the U.S. behavior, with the new U.S. administration's behavior within the last 6 months. And it's actually just projected this idea or this behavior towards other people as if we don't want you to come here anyway. And we don't even want you to have anything to do with us. And so anything to restrict the number of people coming here is fine with us. And when I look at the numbers, for instance, I just look at the number of Nigerians who travel to the US every year. 2004, the number is a little bit over 116,000 Nigerians. Now, I don't imagine that all of them are, going to apply for visa and got visa or whatever. But let's give it a 50% number of that number. You're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of
80.
Of about, I'm talking about how much they would make, in terms of visa fee, right? You're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of almost $9 to $10 million from visa fee from them alone. The question is how many Americans are coming on the other way around? Okay, let's say, about 1,000 Americans coming the other way around. How much is Nigeria going to make from that? So the numbers actually favor the US. So whether or not they say, oh, we're giving you individual, single entry for whatever, the number favors you.
Yeah, but sorry.
Let me finish. At the end of the day as well, I'm just talking visas alone. Most of the travelers to the US travel through Delta.
Yeah.
Which benefits an American company. So in reality here, when I look at the numbers, I really don't see how it benefits the US. The only reason why they are doing this is for immigration reason, and it keys into the current US administration stand on anti-immigration. So reciprocity, yes, they can have that conversation from the State Department level and then see, okay, how they can match it. But even if they do, I really don't see if anything is going to change as long as this current US administration.
Anyway, I'm going to follow up from where she stopped. I like when you said, I wrote it down, you said it is important to ensure that Nigeria works not just for you, but for everybody. And that is where this our problem is. Our diplomacy, whatever they call it, those English, you and they will know it better. It has never been managed right
by the right people.
I had sense in this life.
Wait.
Let me not say it's forever, but since I began to have sense and say, begin to try to understand immigration policies and whatever, I question what is the Ministry of Interior doing, what is the... diplomat, ambassador, right? What is their job, right? I mean, it's interesting to have this conversation and say, Nigerians overstay. Yes. First, let me reiterate that, please, if you collect visa, don't overstay, come back, because it makes it hard for the next person to get.
It does.
That said,
Elsie,
even in terms of other African countries being able to come to Nigeria, Nigeria has one of the stringent visa policies globally.
Yinka, are you hearing?
Now, we've been having conversation of inclusion, African mobility, whatnot. Some countries have actually rose up to the occasion. Kenya has done their own. Now, right, Nigeria, cricket. And we're supposed to be what? Giants of Africa. We are this, we are that.
Always the last to move.
Always the last. Some quarters have said that there was actually a document on the table of the Minister of Interior or wherever it's supposed to be for a very long time. And it was not signed. So they knew that this was coming. But you see the anyhowness that they put everywhere is also what is affecting us when it comes to diplomacy policies. And the worst part or the annoying part is that it affects the citizens more.
Yes.
We've heard stories of how difficult it is for Nigerians to get Nigerian visa, not just for Africans, even for Westerners coming to Nigeria, they have stories to tell. And now, apart from the issue of 3 months, they put other criteria on the website. I told you I went through the website. One of the criteria why they are reviewing this is for persons who default, when they have been given the visas, overstaying and all that. And if you look at it, you said it's Nigerians being unruly and take laws and suggestions. No, it's deliberate. Just give me a visa, even if it's 1 week. I have no intention of coming back. That's different from...
That's not really...
No. I mean, it's different, not like they just broke the law, they want to come back, but they've overstayed by 1 week.
Intentional.
It is intentional. It's like, once I get my feet into America, I'm not coming back. And what causes that? You said we should make reforms to demand that protect Nigerians abroad and dignity at home. I think the dignity at home, that's the one we should focus on. Do we have jobs? Do we have security? You know, are there opportunities? Is there social welfare?
Yeah.
Why do you step in there and don't want to come back
What
again?
will happen? Why is it that Nigerians are ready to go to any other country, including African countries, but Nigeria? We really need to restore dignity at home.
Well, you sort of picked into my rounding of my advocacy, whether we like it or not. Promoting the dignity of Nigerians at home first and abroad is the business of every Nigerian.
Some might even call it enlightened self-interest, since, as you said, Kate, we rise or fall together. On May 25th, 2015, Nigeria took a bold step by enacting the Violence Against Persons Prohibitions Act, commonly known as the VAPP Act. It's Nigeria's most comprehensive law that promises protection for survivors and penalties for offenders. 10 years later, Invictus Africa asks a simple yet important question. Is this promise being fulfilled? The answer, not quite. Invictus Africa VAPP Act Implementation Survey, which captures 11,574 respondents across 35 states and the FCT, reveals a hard truth. Over half of Nigerians have never heard of the VAPP law. Yes, you heard right. 50.7% of Nigerians don't know about the very law meant to protect them. In 13 states, there's no sex offenders register. 6 states have no shelters or sexual assault referral centers called SACs. And 9 states don't have the basic coordination structures to implement the law. This means that gender-based violence survivors, who are often women and children, are left without support and justice. Now imagine you're a young woman with little to no education, living in a rural area. You're assaulted and you seek help, but there's no center, no counseling, no forensic evidence, and worst of all, no one around you know there is a law meant to defend you. This isn't fiction. This is Nigeria in 2025. Yes, there's progress. Courts in 32 states can issue protection orders, and some states are prosecuting offenders. But the gaps outweigh the progress. We need more than patchwork progress to a system that works for everybody. It's time to bridge the gap between the law on paper and the reality on the ground. We need louder awareness, stronger enforcement, accessible survival services, and coordinated institutions. Because laws don't protect. Laws, together with people, functional system, and political will, protect. To state governments, it's not enough to pass the VAPP law. Implement it, fund it, monitor it. If we want to stop tragic stories like Osinachi, Chioma, Success, Esther, Salome, Christiana, and Damilola, then we need to keep raising awareness about the VAPP Act. 10 years is long enough. This is a wake-up call.
The VAPP Act came with a lot of potential, with promise, but yet there's no fulfillment. Again, as always, I will always praise the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency being managed by TT Vival Adeni. There are referral centers, Checheyara, because I work with them, Project Alert on Violence Against Women and Children. We even have them giving training like forensic and also working with some parts of the police force. We also have WARIF, which is the Women at Risk Foundation. So many of them, a few of them, but mostly Lagos State. I think Ekiti also had when Erelu Bisi was, because she's a huge advocate for that as well. So I will throw this straight on the table of the First Ladies. At least let that be your pet project. It's not about rapper and women leader. You know, take this as your, because it's women. It's women, it's young girls, it's even babies. You know, that are going through all of this. So let that be your project whenever you're in office with your husband. Make that something that you take as, a newborn baby. And yes, we need sexual offense registers. And like Zuma always says, she said, the law without a consequence is a suggestion. So I don't want to believe that the VAPP Act is a suggestion. All the names you mentioned, all products of sexual violence, and we need to just say zero tolerance.
So for me, I know about this act and the contents, but if you had asked me if I know the VAPP Act, violence again, okay, probably no.
Okay, you just know VAPP, you don't know the meaning.
No, I know the contents.
Okay,
because when it was first passed, we discussed a lot about it, definitions of rape. It defined things, but I didn't know it neatly as violence against Persons Prohibition Act. So that was one thing. Maybe there will have been a way to coin the name, because it sounds like, how is it different from other violence, But if you read the contents of the act, you will see how rich it is. But that's just by the way. Now, I really like the fact that you mentioned shelters and sexual assault referral centers. This is where civil organizations need to come in. It's not only political parties, civil organizations fighting elections so that they get relevance, okay? Laws like this that are meant to protect the vulnerable in society, civil societies need to push them, because how many laws do we know really? There are so many laws, but how many do we as citizens know? Just the same way we're ignorant of many of those laws, we're ignorant of this. But a law like this is too important, okay, to be left just like any other law. And I think civil society organizations must do more. And where governments can actually come in directly with funding is things like the shelters and the sexual assault referral centers, because I don't think they can fund a law directly. But when they fund like the SACS centers, it leaves an avenue for those who are aggrieved to go. And so, yeah, I think it's a wonderful advocacy, and it calls on us to be more aware.
Please, I have a question, right? If something happens to you, who would you want to call first?
Your family.
No, so aside family, you want to report it to the authorities?
Yes.
Now, aside your family, if you then want to report it to the authorities, who would you call first? It's the police, right? I can even bet my life on it. That police, your Nigerian police force doesn't know that this law exists.
They know, and they receive training, from some of these NGOs. I'm telling you, I've worked with Project Alert. They receive training. I'm telling you, they have.
If you walk into a police station now,
it's not all of them that have the desk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gender desk. Not all of them, but they are. Sorry.
My point is anyway that, like you have rightly said, we need more than patchwork, right? Implementation has always been a problem, not just for VAPP Act, but everywhere, which is where our famous quotes now came from. Suggestion. Right? Implementation. If you are adapting it, even at the end of the day, like you said, how are you funding it? If you can't fund it directly, there are things that you have to put in place to ensure it works. For me, my eyes is on the Nigerian police, because I've not heard any young woman who walks into the police station to say, even that they slapped me, that's what you do when they slap you. Right? The kind of questions and interrogations that you have to go through at the police station is not friendly at all. In fact, using the word friendly is almost, I can't find the right word, but it's not friendly at all.
Conducive.
So that comes in as well. So we need to, that training and implementation, let it also start from the Nigerian police force, and let them even understand, because the level of patriarchy that go on in that Nigerian police force. In fact, it's a policewoman that will deal with you.
Thank you.
And tell you is what you are wearing that caused what happened.
Right, to be honest.
So
that's
for
one of
me.
the statistics that came out of the survey was that averagely in some states, you're looking at about 20 convictions in a year. Lagos State came up with the highest conviction of about 60.
Obviously.
Of course.
In a year. And that tells you, that actually just confirms what you're saying, that we're not persecuting enough
of course.
of this
So that is a family matter.
issues, and we're not convicting enough.
How many have been reported?
Okay. Thank you.
For me, I think a law without awareness is worse than a law without consequences.
Zuma has
Another
come.
quote.
Zuma has come again.
Another
We'll
quote.
write it down.
Repeat.
A law without awareness is worse than a law without consequences. When people ask me about what is the most important part of advocacy, I tell them it is sensitization. People need to know.
You need to know their rights.
They need to know their rights. And that is where the national orientation comes into play.
God.
Again, we have to go back to
These people
them.
again.
We have to go back to them because this law is so all-encompassing and it protects everybody. My favorite part of it is the fact that it recognizes that males can be victims of sexual violence.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not even a woman-only thing. It captures everybody and it criminalizes actions like spouse abandonment. You just see men abandon their wives and they will go somewhere. You see women abandon their children. They don't even know it's illegal. So when the populace know that when people do these things, there are consequences attached to it, it becomes better. So please, civil society organizations, National Orientation Agency, we need to do more in letting people know that these laws exist to protect them.
It's the national anthem.
They are
We're
busy with
talking
national
now.
anthem.
Elsie.
How many laws do you
I know the important ones, the ones that apply
No,
to
you
my
know, you
daily
say the
living.
law without awareness is like...
It's worse than a, please get the quote right.
get it
A law
right.
without
It is.
awareness is worse than a law without consequence. Get the quote
Many of
right.
us are very ignorant of laws. to be
Zuma with the
honest.
quote.
Oh, shit.
You know, just to buttress something that Andy said, so the VAPP Act is a federal law, but it needs to be domesticated.
Domesticated by the
Yes.
state.
Each
And
state
I think about
for it to
34
be
states
Yeah.
have domesticated
No,
it.
35, except one.
Oh.
Kano.
35 have
Kind of.
domesticated it.
35 are domesticated.
But there are
Implementation
disparities in the
Yeah,
domestication.
there are
Because
differences.
largely-
It's not in its entirety.
It's not in its
Largely,
entirety,
there are
yeah.
pushbacks around marital rape.
It will be some places of this country, some parts of this country.
Yeah. So this is a call on Kano State. You are the only state in Nigeria
Yeah.
that is yet to implement the VAPP Act.
They're
or
working on it.
Domesticate it.
Who is the first
Right. So
lady?
this is a call to you, the first lady of Kano,
Ladies.
the first lady of Kano, the governor of Kano State. Do the right thing and implement this law. They say all good things come to an end, even the good, the bad, and the ugly. However, there's more where this came from. Join us again, same channel, same time, next week. Let's keep tackling the issues that affect us all. Till then, it's goodbye from all of us.
Cheers, from the epic culture.
Bye.